There we go. Hi, my name is Carrie Johnston, and we are doing this interview today from the traditional territory of the Champagne-Ajac First Nations in the community of Haines Junction. And I have with me Joanne Thomas. And Joanne, if you could just introduce yourself for everyone.
Okay, my name is Joanne Thomas, and I started my business 25 plus years ago. The vision at that time was to help small business in any way I could. Basically in business consulting, and the bottom line for that was just to make things easier to understand. And then I've switched to the accounting side of that later on. I still do the business consulting, and it's the same thing as to get people to understand exactly what that means to their business, what taxes they have to use, what different expenses they can use, what they can't, those kind of things. And it's just to make it clear for business to understand, because businesses need to run their business. They don't need to be bogged down with the technical aspects or the language that makes no sense. I guess is how I put it. And so, yeah. And so I bring in different people. I guess in the beginning I started doing seminars, and then I started bringing in different people when I had my accounting firm down south, and to basically show them how to run their business. Also, we did some, I guess, what we called incubation. And so we would show them different things they could do with their business and give them a break on rent and things to get a start up. Since I moved back to the Yukon, I've gotten together a group of bookkeepers, tax preparers, accountants to form a group, a network. And so we're not in competition with each other, we collaborate with each other. And so if I have a question, I can phone Sylvia and ask her if I can't remember what that is, or they can phone me, or I can say, okay, actually Tara's strength is in this area, so you should probably use her when I'm talking to a client. And that way we're sharing clients, but we also are we can answer their questions for them, or we have somebody in our network that can answer their questions. And it's working really well. We've grown from 2 people to 5 in 3 years. So, and actually we have people in other provinces as well. And so in Western Canada so far. And so we have some in Saskatchewan, BC, or Saskatchewan and Alberta. We have 2 in Alberta actually, and 1 in BC that we're maybe going to take on, but we're not sure yet.
So you're really you're centralized here in the Yukon, but your network is vast, really across Western Canada.
Yeah, and there is. We did have a guy in Ontario. He retired, so that's okay. I mean, he was great. So
at the core of your business model is both sort of collaboration and sharing.
Yes. Yeah, it's to make sure that, I make sure that they're okay with their businesses and help them to get going when they first start out. This year, we have a brand new person that's starting, and she's great at doing what she's doing. I tell them what courses they can take to upgrade training, that kind of thing. And then now that I have a team, it's not just me helping her. It's the whole team can, if I'm not available, she can ask somebody else on the team on how. And I built a whole system on how to run your business within this field. So it's an audit-proof bookkeeping system, but it's more than that. We're not sure what we're going to call it yet, but so anyways, but it's a whole system. So they know how to run their business. They have the forms, they have the tracking, all the things they need to start that and launch. And so, and then the whole team behind them to help them get going. It's worked out really cool. I'm very proud of them.
Yeah, you and your team have been the start of a lot of great businesses here in Haines Junction and across the territory. So it's neat to see. I imagine you've been receiving a lot of calls from clients and people in the community just over everything that's happening in the world with the coronavirus and COVID-19. Do you have any general advice for the business community right now?
Yeah, don't watch the news. I realize that people want to keep updated, and it's okay to do that. That's fine. Just don't watch it all day long, or try to get updates, every hour. That's just crazy making stuff. So you need to know the different updates. You can ask, you can go on with the Village of Haines Junction, for instance. The different communities have that in their websites, so that there's updates there, so you can go look that up. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business has some great updates, so you can just go and look and see what pertains to your business. Also, the CRA, of course, website, it's a little not as clear sometimes to understand that, but it's also on there. Now, so that's all fine. You get all the updates, excuse me, and you're not quite sure how to figure them out or how it's going to apply to your business. Then you can talk to your accountant or tax preparer or bookkeeper to see if they can help you with that. The other thing is that I've told a lot of people, because it's a scary time. It's nerve-wracking. It's a high stress time for a lot of people because they're having to lay off employees and all of a sudden their income dropped, is to make sure to take the time for yourself, and whether that's taking off for a walk or meditating, even if you just meditate for 10 minutes. I've given that out a whole bunch, is to tell people, there is a thing called indigo dreams, and just meditate for those 10 minutes, and that kind of brings you down so you have clear thinking. Because when you're in that panic mode or that high stress mode, you're not making clear decisions for your business. So it's not as productive, for one, but two, you're making rash decisions instead of thinking them out. And so if you actually can just take a step back and then make clear decision for your business, not just as a reactor. I guess you're being proactive instead of reactive is another way to look at it. Because reactive doesn't always help your business. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is you just referenced a thing called Indigo Dreams? Is that an app or a website or something that you found valuable?
Yeah, it's a meditation thing, and they have different things in there. Just breathing exercise for 10 minutes. You can do a meditation for 10 minutes. You can do affirmations for 10 minutes. And they're just very short, because as business owners, we don't have a lot of time. So if you can take 10 minutes to just take a step back and do something for yourself, it's huge. And it'll bring you back down, and then you can make conscious decisions about your business instead of reacting. And Indigo Dreams is a CD I have. You can get it online as well. They even have them for kids. But anyway,
yeah. There's lots available out there, and so just sort of finding the right one for you is probably the important thing.
Yeah, for sure.
In your career, you've spent a lot of time helping people establish new businesses here in the Yukon. And through Yukon College, you've offered courses like 12 Steps to Starting Your Own Business. I know I took that when I started mine, and it was incredibly helpful. There might be people who are looking to start businesses at a time like this, looking to launch an online business or sort of establish themselves in a different way. What advice might you have for somebody who's looking to do that right now?
If somebody's going to start a business right now, if you already have a job, I always tell people to keep their job until they make enough in their business to quit their job. And yeah, you're going to be really busy by the end of that, but that's okay. That means that your business is launching, especially right now, because everything's up in the air. We're not sure where things are going to be going. If you're going to start right now, online is going to have to be the way you have to go, because we cannot have any contact with people at this time. If you're already in business, it's time to start thinking outside of your normal business that you've modeled, that you've had. And so I was thinking of a few examples before we started this. And so, for instance, if you're a hairdresser, okay, so you're a hairdresser, well, you cannot be doing your business anymore, because that cutting someone's hair is way closer than 2 meters, right? And so we're supposed to keep 2 meters apart. But there's things you can do for your customers and to keep your customer base, because once this is over, people are going to need a haircut again or need their hair styled. Matter of fact, because this is such a high stress time, going in to get your hair styled and make yourself feel better is something that people will really want to do once this is over. So to keep your customer base, for one, you can start doing webinars on how they can look after their hair at home. Can not just hair. I mean, hairdressers do a lot of other things besides hair, but this is just an example. And if you're selling products, then you can recommend those products on the webinar, and of course, then your product sales will increase, and to help make up for not being able to see your customers at all. But it's also a really good service to your customers, because then you're keeping in contact with them. And by doing a webinar and giving them tips on how to look after themselves when they're in isolation, I mean, you're building a greater bond with your customers right there. So I picked hairdresser because it was the worst as far as clients that I've dealt with, that they have no business now. Like, it's all of a sudden, one day they were full booked, and now they have zero. And so it's to try to transition into something new. And it's, I mean, it's the same with a lot of businesses. Mine has gone totally through email and online. And so that's why I was asking Carrie in the beginning, is how I can use what the program we're using now in order to start communicating with my clients. Because as much as some of them are comfortable just talking to me on the phone, there are some that want to see my face. And so something like that is a great way to be able to communicate with customers. So
yeah, and there are experts at Yukon College and within the Yukon community who can help businesses with some of this sort of digital transition, and getting in touch with the folks at Innovation and Entrepreneurship is a way to kind of connect for some of those things, because there are oftentimes tools that we're not aware of exist yet, and are there to support us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or experts in your own community. Like, I'm happy to help however I can with web design and things like this here in Haines Junction. So we're in a time where we're seeing lots of transformation in our established systems and ways of being, and we're all experiencing a lot of change, and that can be destabilizing. Has there been any sort of aha moments for you over the last couple of weeks, things that you've sort of changed in your own mindset, even personally or professionally?
Yes, besides doing everything online, we have a secure email system that was already set up last year. So that just really, we were able to use that tons this year. Little things like that are just something that were already in the works. But the biggest aha for me was I have websites. One is like TaxLink Canada, and so we'll be adding more information on that as time comes. But the one that has just kind of been sitting there, I haven't had time to do anything with, is planyourmoneynow.com, and it gives 4 free booklets on helping people save money. And you know, just for different things, like there's 104 money saving tips, different meal things you can do, stuff like that. And that has had a huge increase in people going to that site. And so it's I mean, the next step from that site is to actually do a course on how to manage your money. And so that, of course, is escalated in time-wise, that it has to be developed now. I've got, even today, I had 7 emails. Okay, I've gone through your booklets. Now, can you help me plan so that I can figure out my money situation for the next few months? And so, yeah, that has become a more larger priority, I guess, is the thing. So it is tax season, so taxes are priority, but that's, yeah.
Yeah, I think I guess it's part of that lifelong learning, and you've always been a huge advocate for that, both as a teacher and somebody who brings in a lot of information. And I've heard that in sort of some of the advice I've been given, is to use this time to sort of work your learning muscles, and to think about the things that you want to take on that way.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've gone to school since I left school. That's what I always say. And I still do every year. You know, last year I took things on death and taxes because I had questions from the community. And so you can do the same for businesses out there. If you have a lot of questions from customers right now, or in the past, and so right now you can go and help figure out the answers for those questions. So Last year, I had a lot of questions about death and taxes, and so this year we were supposed to have a seminar on that, but it's delayed, of course. But yeah, now people are more interested in figuring out their personal finance, so we'll do that instead.
Well, we'll get you set up teaching your own webinars here online soon too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Good. Okay. Anything else to add, or we'll close for the day?
Just it is crazy time, and it's very scary, and to make sure that you do spend time for yourself as a business owner, even like I say, if it's only 10 minutes a day. You can't make good decisions for you, your business, even or your family, if you're stressed right out. So make sure you take that walk, take that 10 minutes to meditate, do some breathing exercises, something to keep you on the level. So
Thanks, Joanne.
thank you. You have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.